Greetings, folks. Welcome back to the Jason Damico Show, and we are coming in live once again via Zoom. And got a very special guest for you. She is really making a splash in the international blues and rock circuit. And I've got a really juicy bio here. I'm not going to read all of it for you, but we're going to give you a couple of teasers of what she's done. Our guest is a prolific songwriter, confident producer, arranger, band leader, pianist, and one-of-a-kind live performer. She sings with unearthly passion and velvety grit, effortlessly pushing air to new heights, and her operatic trained voice has been called both sexy and menacing.
What?
Her band, Eliza Neals and the Narcotics, is a combination of modern electric blues, psychedelic rock, with a twist of jam band and southern soul. Original compositions have garnered her a 2018 Detroit Black Music Award for Blues Artist of the Year and 5 Detroit Music Awards as well. She's performed and opened for, small names. You haven't really heard of them. George Clinton, The Four Tops, Mike Zito, Tommy Castro, Walter Trout, Papa Chubby, Joe Louis Walker, many, many more. And you can hear her regularly on Sirius XM, BB King's Bluesville, which is a great station. Definitely check it out if you haven't listened in already. New record out, new single out, Black Crow Moan, featuring Joe Louis Walker. Please welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Miss Eliza Neals.
Hey, that's quite an intro.
Hey, you know what? We got to do it right.
That's beautiful.
So
that's quite a lot of stuff. I can't even believe I did all that, but it is true.
I'm enjoying the apartment PA system, or the loft PA system.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Everything sounds really good in here.
Yeah.
Like a church.
Well, we'll definitely get to you playing something live here in a second, but before we do, I want to start with your beginning stages, even before the operatic side of things, like really early on, like childhood years. When and how did music start for you?
Well, it's a long story, but my dad used to play the acoustic guitar and banjo and harmonica just for fun. And when we were little, like 5 years old, 6, 7, we used to, folk songs and all that kind of thing. And we'd sing with him, and we really liked it. And it was like swamp kind of blues music,
Right.
And then I kept singing with my sisters, and we joined talent shows, and we'd all win the talent shows. And we're like, wow, this is cool. And then I started, in elementary and then high school. And as I went up, I was in all the choirs and would go on talent shows, and I'd always win the talent shows. And it was like, wow, maybe there's something to this. My older sister studied music. She studied classical piano, and she would always write. Well, before that, when she was in her teens, she'd play like a lot of Southern rock and like Neil Young and James Taylor and all that kind of stuff. And on the piano, we'd sing and harmonize with my two sisters. And we just kept doing it. It was like sounding really good. But I'm the one who my older sister went to study piano and voice also. And she's a great songwriter. I write a lot of songs with her still. And my other sister is now a hairdresser, but she still sings with me when we can put it together. But it just kept coming to us naturally. We were naturally just kind of good at it. And then my dad said, well, you need to get a degree if you live here. So I decided to go to Wayne State University. I passed the jury for opera. Figured, why not get a music degree? I already know how to do music. How hard could it be? And it was really hard, but I wanted to do music. So they didn't have a rock school. So, I decided, let's learn opera. So I did. It came easier to me since I already knew, the basics. Then I write, I sing, I know how to conduct a choir and write charts and like everything. It's like the Berklee School of Music of Detroit. That's what Wayne State.
Yeah.
So graduated from there and did gigs 6-7 nights a week while I was going to music school. So it was hard because you have to keep your voice really pure for opera, no grit. So it was kind of like I had to make a choice, either you do this or that. But, you know, I graduated, everything was good, but I decided to keep doing my thing. Long story short, I just kept doing it professionally, made a living at it. And then I met Barrett Strong, who I heard through the grapevine, Papa was a Rolling Stone, all those in a health food store in the suburbs of Detroit. I didn't know it was him, of course. And he thought I was a great singer. And he said, "You remind me of someone." I go, "Who?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, when someone you might know." I go, "Who?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, well, I worked with Gladys Knight and Aretha Franklin. And you kind of remind me of her when you play the piano and sing." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." You know, everyone has something to say. And then I looked it up, and it was true. That's who he worked with. He worked with the Temptations, Marvin Gaye. So he was turned out to be my best friend and mentor. So I wrote over 60 songs with him, co-produced his last album he's done called Stronghold 2. We had a full Detroit Symphony string section I got to be a part of, as far as directing and stuff, which was mind-blowing. What else can I tell you? So it was just music, and I just started putting albums out, you know, and Barrett had a studio called Blair Records, Blair Studios in Detroit. Then what happened? Then I just, you know, I was making a living, and then I just went a little bit more into the blues because everyone said I had such a good voice for the blues. Every time I'd sing blues, Etta James, Coco Taylor, anything by B.B. King, they'd say, "Wow, you know," it was a long story. I was in Chicago and I sang at Kingston Mines, and I just sat in, you know, as a fluke, and they offered me my own set. And this was before I was like officially in the blues. So it steered me this way. I kind of went into the blues full stream 5 years ago with Breaking and Entering. And that's an album that's out on my own label, E&H Records. It's my label. Like I said, I'm indie. I'm all indie. So it's quite difficult. Yet it's rewarding when you actually get somewhere. And every release I've had has been right to Bluesville. And so finally, people worldwide are hearing my music. So it's been a long road, but people are like, "Oh, I've never heard of you. You just overnight." I'm like, "Yeah, overnight, right?" It's like, you know, 10 years, 15 years to be an overnight success.
They said that about Journey too.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, especially like
they said that about everyone because they haven't seen you, so that you're an overnight success. They've never heard of you.
Yeah, and I mean, Steve Perry got with them, and within a year or two, things kind of blew up. But they were around for 8 to 10 years before that.
Yeah, 8, 10, 15. Even, you know, I mean, I've been doing music forever. If you want to add it up, since I've been 5,
right?
It's 25 years because I'm 30. But I'm not gonna. I'm just saying it's time. You know, a lot of time put in, and thank God I can get it on the radio and you know, and have people buy it and get tours. And you know, I just got asked to do Spain again. I have UK. I have all those great festivals that are rescheduled for 2021, which they said yes to. They're going to the same lineup. And I don't know. Am I babbling too much?
No.
Oh.
This is a relaxed format.
Okay. So is that? I mean, does that answer your questions?
Sure. I mean, you knocked out. You're making this easier for me. You knocked out half the bullet points.
Oh, good. It's just it's a life of passion of music. I love it. And to actually have it be heard and everything is like so good for the soul, because it heals me to heal people. When people say your song healed me, or you know, I produced and wrote all these tunes the way I hear them in my head. Black Chromo, a lot of the albums I do are co-produced by me, or something, you know, and so it's hard for women still to be able to be taken serious with that, but it feels good when I'm right up there with everybody. You know, the people from Roof Records, or you know, Vanguard, or what is it called, Viz Tone, and all that.
I was going to ask you about your creative process. Walk me through that, if it's changed over the years, or just how you go about songwriting.
Well, a lot of the times, I come up with an idea on the piano, you know, and come up with a melody, a chord change, and then I'll think of, like, I'll be writing lyrics all the time, you know, just in a pad or on my iPhone, you know, in voice memos, and then I sometimes I just grab an idea and say I want to write to this on this melody goes with this. And then sometimes, you know, if I co-write with somebody, I'll have them send me a track or something, and I'll write to that. Like with Don't Judge the Blues, that was with Mike P. He sent me a track I really liked, and I just had some lyrics for that. I go, that's gonna be perfect for that. But like Black Crow Moan and all that, Devil Don't Love You, it all came from the piano first. And then I came up with the song, the chords and everything, and then I came up with the melody and fit the words in, you know?
Right.
So it's kind of like piano, chords, melody, and then fitting the word, the lyrics in with that.
Yeah, it's like a bottom to top technique.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've a lot of folks on the show, and including myself, things are usually from that placement of, you know, music first, then lyrics. But there are some folks that they know they write the words first, they write the lyrics, and then they kind of stream things down. I don't think I've ever done that successfully.
Yeah. That's a good way to do it. Like what Barrett Strong always says to me. I'll go, Barrett, how do you remember? How do you remember if a song's good if you don't write it down sometime? How do you remember? I said, why don't you write it down? Because sometimes I'll be watching him, you know, and he's working, and because it's in my head. I go, well, how do you remember that? He goes, because if it ain't about shit, you won't remember it.
Right.
And that really stuck with me.
Right.
So if you can't remember your hook or whatever, it probably isn't that good.
Yeah, that's great.
You know what I mean?
That's great. Yeah.
That's from the guy who wrote Heard It Through the Grapevine, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, Just My Imagination, Cloud. I mean, he has so many hits.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, okay. There it is.
What an opportunity to work with him.
I learned so much from him, Jason. In the studio, producing, writing, how he directs, you know, the background singers, you know. The background singers that sang on my first stuff, I don't have it right now. I have to find those tracks that I did with Barrett were the same backup singers that did like stuff for Aretha, the Ridgeway Girls, and like you wouldn't believe this, like it was insane the way he would direct, and I learned how to do all that, you know.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you learned from him vocally? It's a really hard question to answer, but I'm because your vocals are obviously off the charts. I'm inspired by your vocal.
Thank you.
I really am. I really am.
Wow, really? That's so nice. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I'm curious. What was the biggest thing that you learned from working with him?
Well, I learned so much. I mean, my rhythm, my singing in the pocket, my way I say the words, the way I hold phrases up. It's endless. But I'd say the most important thing is make sure you're in pitch. Don't ever hit a bad note if you can. I mean, if you were a little sharp, he'd call you tone deaf. Like a little, like barely detectable to the ear.
Yeah.
You're tone deaf. Like, you know, this is the Motown school here. You know what I mean? If they don't play, there's no playing involved. So don't try to sing like you're cute. Don't pose or anything like that. Just let it all out.
Let it out.
That's the best thing I ever learned. Let it out.
Let it out.
Yes.
That's great. Well, you want to let something out right now?
Sure. I just can't go too crazy because of, you know, the circumstances. But yeah, I'll play you a song. What do you want to hear off that album? Do you have a request?
I mean, the title track is fantastic. I also love The Devil Don't Love You. I thought that was great too. So either one of those would be fantastic.
All right, I'll play Black Crow Moan. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Mama tried to save me. Daddy always with me. Sitting at the night, sleeping all night. Music was my life, baby. Everything gonna be alright. Everything gonna be just fine. My brother for me like he was the world, so much pain. Find a peaceful place of his own. Listen to the black trombone. Listen to the black trombone. Listen to the black trombone. He has on. Listen to the black trombone. Listen to the black trombone. Yeah. Listen to the black trombone. Changes are coming. Don't let you be running. Put your hands in the sky. Spread your wings and fly. Listen to black trombone. Listen to black trombone. Listen to black trombone. House of pain burning in the rising sun. Mama, why did you ever run? So much pain. Burning close to the grave, but the song remains the same. Listen to the black trombone. Listen to the black trombone. Listen to the black trombone. She cries on. Listen to the black trombone.
Hell yeah.
All right. Woo!
Man.
Like
wow.
it? Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. What is that? What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, it's a long, deep story, but it's about growing up in my family. I love my family and everything, but it was difficult. My dad was very military, and he was strict. And music was my lightning. Getting through everything was music. Music getting me through all these things that were not so easy with him at home. You know, we couldn't wear makeup. Certain,
Wow.
I mean, like all these things that girls go through nowadays. Like in our house, it wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
very strict. So I love him for it. So it made me tough. But at the time, it was hard.
Wow.
But I got a great song from him.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
wow.
people. I know people who go through stuff like that, and they say it's exactly what I'm going through. You know.
Yeah. I wanted to also ask you your working with Papa Chubby
Yeah.
on Sweet or Mean. What was that process like?
Well, God, I mean, to meet Papa Chubby, like I've been trying to open up for him for a while, and he's in the New York area, so am I.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to open up, and at first he's like, "Yeah, you good? Because you better be freaking good." He used the real word, of course, Papa Chubby. I like at first, like we were not friends. It was like I was like, I hate him. Like, oh my God, and he's so mean, blah blah blah. And like we were just like he would say, yeah, no, are you fucking good? If you are, you better be fucking good, and all this stuff. And finally, I ran into him again. He goes, "You want to punch me, don't you?" And I'm like this, yeah. And then I ran into him and he goes, "You want to sit in?" I go, "Yeah." So I was actually in the same place. I was in Florida, and he let me sit in, and I passed the test.
Cool.
So now we're like best buddies, not best buddies, but we're really good friends. We're friends now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had to pass the Papa Chubby test. He's the nicest guy in the world. He's just all about music, and I'm sure a million people ask him to sit in all the time, and they suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's serious.
Maybe. I mean, that's why he's like, puts you through a test.
Right.
Through a little test. He changed keys 3 times when I was singing. In one phrase. Like we started off in one key, then they modulated to another key, then he went to another key, all within like a verse.
Wow.
So I had to follow that.
Yeah.
So it was definitely nerve-wracking. But
Well,
he goes, "You did a great job." And then after that, I said, "Do you want to you want to guest on some of my new recordings?" He said, "Yeah." He goes, and I played him some songs. He loved them. And then he actually produced the whole EP, Sweeter Me. I wrote all the tunes, Pawn Shop Blues, Living with Your Mom. All those songs were kind of already written. So it kind of like we just gelled in the studio. And he gets my vibe, and it came out the way it did. Like, he's a great musician, great producer, great singer. He's very, very talented, more talented. I already knew he was talented, but to see him in the studio was a whole other, you know what I mean? A whole other learning experience. He's really, really good. That's my thing. And now we're friends. He's the sweetest guy, really. At first I thought he was like mean, because he's, beast from the East, but he's really a big teddy bear.
Yeah, I sat in with him once years ago. I was probably like 19, 20.
Yeah.
Because his ex-wife used to play bass for me.
Oh yeah, I've heard of a few people in
yeah, Galay. She's great. And
okay.
yeah, no, I just did an open mic with him one time, and I didn't hear anything negative, so I was like, all right, cool.
Believe me, he
I'll
would
take
say
it as a
it.
compliment.
Really, for sure. Because then you'd just be like, yeah, next, or whatever. Like, I actually sang at his wedding. He called me up and I sang, "Take Your Pants Off." I dedicated that to him. And
That's
isn't that
great.
funny? Yeah. Well, I have Derek St. Holmes is on though. "Take Your Pants Off," "Ball and Chain," and what's the other one he's on? It's on 3 songs up there. Yeah, and oh yeah, "Never Stray." So Derek St. Holmes is from Ted Nugent band. He wrote "Hey Baby," "Hey Baby."
Yeah.
That was Derek St. Holmes. What does that say? Challenge? Oh yeah. Yeah, I just forgot. I forgot about the Take Your Pants Off challenge. I have a Take Your Pants Off challenge. If you want to participate, you got to send me a video with your pants off. And if you win 100. The best picture gets $100, and you'll be in my video.
Oh, that's great. When's that? No pun intended. When's that going down?
It's now, and you got to get it in by May 14th, right? By May 14th, May 15th. Get your video, your picture, and you'll be in the video.
Well, then in that case, we'll make a push to get this thing out before the 14th, so people know.
Yeah. Take Your Pants Off challenge. So I got a lot of really good videos and pictures so far.
I bet.
It's really great.
Probably a little bit more than what you would want to see.
Yeah, but mostly it's like, cute, like, it looks like shorts. Like, it's nothing.
Right.
So this one kid had, so funny, we're doing a show, and he took off his pants, and he had slut on the back of his underwear. It was perfect.
That's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. But there was at that place, Nine Wallace. I love them there. They're so nice. It's a great place to play. You should check it out. I just hope we get back to playing soon. What do you think? What's your take?
Yeah, it's I miss it. I really miss it.
I know.
The
whole interaction is I don't know if it's going to be back to interacting that quickly, you know,
I don't know.
with the crowd and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It was it's just it's so surreal.
I know. One minute I'm in the island of Mystique playing these amazing concerts every night with Joe Louis Walker, the icon, Lenny Bradford, all these people. Next thing I come home, we're wearing a mask in the airport because we heard about it could be, it was the very beginning of it. And we're like, what? I didn't take it, I really didn't believe it. And then when I started to hear about it, I was like, uh-oh, this is serious.
I haven't. It's been a minute since I've seen Joe and Lenny, because the last time I saw them was at Town Crier in New York. I opened up for Joe, and
Nice.
great guys. I
Yeah.
think Brian was on drums too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Brian
Yeah, Byron
Cage.
was at Mystique too, yeah.
Or
What a
excuse me,
great drummer.
Byron,
They're all
not
great.
Brian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, another drummer I know named Brian up in New York. He played with
Yeah.
Slam Allen
Well,
once or twice.
Byron Cage, right?
Byron Cage. Yeah, Byron
Byron.
Cage. I was going to ask you real quick your vocal performance, and you kind of answered this earlier, but your approach. What's going through your mind per se? You know, when you're really just trying to portray whatever's going on with the song. What's your go-to as far as inspiration?
I guess a lot of times, like, let's take Ball and Chain. Um, that's one of my favorite songs to sing. And I just wanted to kind of like, I'm singing for my life. Like, I feel like I'm singing for my life when I sing that.
Right.
Like, it's so, I love the words, I love the melodies. It gives me so much room to like branch out with my voice, you know, like, sitting in my window, just like, you gotta I gotta do something that just makes me feel better. Like I say, let it out. But
Right.
there's tender moments, there's rougher moments, there's high notes, there's low notes. You just have to make it move, It just can't be stagnant. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. How did the because I have a background in musical theater, and that's actually
Okay.
how I started singing really early on,
Mhm.
more so than like rock and roll and blues.
Okay.
How were you able to merge those two worlds between opera? Because I mean, you've got some hella grit, like incredible grit, but then I can hear the technique behind it. How did that merging process happen for you?
A lot of singing. Like I have to be honest, like when I stopped doing opera, I had to
Right,
unlearn everything that I learned.
right.
Like every single thing that I learned, I know is good for your voice. And you shouldn't, you got to figure out what you can get away with that won't damage your vocal cords. Do you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So like instead of
100%.
yeah, 100%. So instead of singing, which would sound pretty like sitting out my window. So that's all like proper. So how do I want it to sound? I want it to be, I want to get some emotion out, sitting
Yeah.
at my window. It's like
You got to play with it.
gotta play with it till you figure out how to get that out without hurting yourself.
Right.
You have to breathe,
A lot of it's
you know,
breathing.
breathing, right? And putting it on at the end, maybe like it's like bending a string or putting a flange at the end. So everything's not the same. So it's not boring.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's really the best advice. I sang 5, 6 nights a week in Detroit, different clubs, while I was going to music school, getting up at 6 in the morning to go to do like voice classes, choirs. So a lot of training. There was cigar smoke in there. It all went in like into my voice, and like I don't know how I did it, but it was 5 sets. I remember I did used to do the casino gigs, and it was 7 o'clock to like 2 a.m. and I was the only singer. I'm like, how many more songs do you want me to sing? You know, and like somehow I just did it. And so, you know, I I don't know how, but I think singing so much and doing the opera training and all that just got the
The
muscle where I can
resilience.
sing. I can sing through anything. I can sing through the flu,
Yeah.
you know, which I had to do. I had the biggest show of my life in Detroit at the Magic Bag. I remember, and that's where it was called the Antifreeze Blues Festival. And I had wanted to do that for years, and I finally got picked to do it, and I had the flu. I'm like, oh my God. So you have to vocalize above, you know how to vocalize above your vocal cords? You know how to do that?
Yep.
You know, you go, brrr, and you go above it, blah, blah, blah. So I
Yep.
had to place my voice above it, even though I was sicker than hell. And then I was on medicine, Z-Pack, all kinds of, um, I think I was on steroids too. I got through it. I did it.
Yeah.
And no one even knew I was sick. Nobody.
Isn't it strange how that happens?
Yeah, they're like, oh, you sounded great, but I could hear the difference.
Right.
I was raspier than usual. I didn't
Right.
have the range I usually have because I can go, you know, way up there. Like, you know, when I can, you know, use my high notes, I go way up to a high A, B. I'm a, you know, mezzo soprano. So when you're sick, a lot of those notes are gone, right? So it's like
Right.
I'm pushing from my, you know, from when you do theater, it's your chest voice.
Mm-hmm.
So no one knew, no one noticed.
Are you an alto by default?
I'm a mezzo soprano, really, because I
Okay.
can, because and alto, yeah, I have deeper tones. Yeah, I would say more
Right.
than a soprano. Yeah, but I can hit these notes up here. If you hear some of my music, you've heard I go into the highs. You know,
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah, I go up there, but I come down. You know, I don't stay there too long. It could be a little. If I stay up
Yeah.
there too long, I find it to be a little, for me, too much. I like it more in the gritty, the whispery, stronger tones. You know?
Yeah.
But
I
that's just my
can't.
style. It took forever. I mean, all I can tell people who are listening is just sing a lot, sing a lot, sing a lot, sing a lot, and you're going to find your way into your own style. You're going to say, how am I going to, I like what I did that the other night, and you wouldn't have known unless you sang so many times to figure it out.
And it's strange because vocally for me, I'm obviously more in baritone world. I can hit high notes, and I've over songwriting throughout the years, I go up there, I pop up for emphasis, but I don't hang out up there, you know, because
Right.
I want to be able to sing these things for 20 or 30 or 40 years. And
Yeah.
I just learned early on, like, yeah, if you're gonna do it, you gotta know where that range is, that
Yeah.
tessitura. And then if you want to get crazy and pop up there, go ahead. But the melody line can't, for me, it can't sit up in that. It's got to be more in that like Jim Morrison, Scott Weiland type.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, give him a little and then go back, and that's all you need.
right?
Like Joe would tell me, he goes, Eliza, I love when you sing, like when I sing Devil Don't Love You, I use a different technique, a little bit lighter,
Mm-hmm.
like when, the devil had and rise and slow, oh, but the devil wear a shady cloak, you know what I mean? A little bit more lighter.
Yeah.
So you try different things and what works for the song. He loved me doing that. He produced that one.
I love the, I'm trying to remember if it was, you did like a version of Rock Me Baby. Was that with Joe? Because I saw that on YouTube.
I might have done, no, that was Mike Zito
Oh, okay. That was Mike.
and Tommy Castro. Yeah, I sat in with them one night, and then they asked me to they both asked me to open up a couple times in New York, so that's cool. And then Walter Trout,
Yep.
I opened up for him, like at the Highline Ballroom before that closed. Now it's Sony Hall. And I sat in with him 3 times already, like 3, 4 times, like whenever he's in town and I'm there, he lets me sit in. He plays, he loves my song Another Lifetime, and he plays that one.
That's
He
awesome.
wants me to sing it. I know, you heard it on Bluesville, and he's like, I love that song. Eliza, I'm playing your song. He's the nicest guy. I mean, they're all nice, really.
Yeah.
But Walter Trout, man, he's been through a lot, with this, came back from that whole ordeal and blah, blah, and he's doing so good now.
Well, speaking of shows, reminiscing on what you've done thus far, which is a lot. uh,
I'm just getting going though. It's like 5 years into the blue, like,
right.
being in the blues scene, it's more opening up for me now because of people are, I guess, are finding me now and going, where have you been? And I'm like, well, I'm glad you found me now.
Blues is a genre where there's a lot of love. It just
Yes.
takes a while for things to happen, because it's not mainstream.
Right. But since I do more rock with it, it's like, it's not, it's like a blues rock thing. So it's a little bit
Yep.
its own category. You know what I mean?
It's the same genre that I sit in.
Yes, exactly.
I can't make up my mind.
But I think it's more mainstream blues rock.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that was really like kind of the Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix type of, ushering in of that. And even Van Halen, quite honestly, because Van Halen, lot of blues influence with them, and there's so many bands in the 70s and 80s where
it's just classic rock. Like the blues rock now is classic rock of the 70s. That's why, like Rolling Stones, I met Mick Jagger. He told me he loved my voice. I was almost dying. I think I
bet.
I almost died. He's my all-time icon, favorite rock star of all time. And I'm talking to him like twice, like 3 times. Like, it's insane. And he's like, I love you. Sound great, Eliza. It's a voice I soon won't forget.
Wow.
I was like, what?
That's awesome.
But I learned everything from Mick too. Like, he lets it out. Just do your thing, I love Mick.
He doesn't give a shit.
Voice.
He's just incredible showman.
Yes, and for blues rock, that's the genre, like just gritty, but still love blues. Like it comes from the blues, the integrity.
Who are some of your major influences? Right? Oh yeah.
But come on, tell everyone if they can help at all, buy the album.
For sure. We'll have the links in the description box below and to the sides.
Yeah, info at E-H Records and my website, elizaneals.com. They can go there and order it.
And I love the music video for Black Crow Moans. It's really, it's very simple, but it's effective.
Oh, you mean on the beach there?
Yeah.
That was taken while we were doing the album cover, and I was just sitting there, and he had the camera up. Thank you.
That's cool.
Before
we start kind of like wrapping up and going towards the tail end of this, I wanted to see who some of your major influences were, besides some of the names that you were talking about earlier.
Okay, so I mean, on the rock side, there's so many. Like, of course, like back to Mick Jagger, Elton John, Doobie Brothers, Neil Young, Jackson Brown, Heart. I mean, all those bands. I mean, from the 70s and 80s, and then on the blues side, of course, Big Mama Thornton, Coco Taylor, B.B. King. Jimi Hendrix is more rock, of course, Jimi Hendrix. And then Aretha Franklin, her voice, I'd study her voice. Marvin Gaye from Motown, all the Motown singers I love. Barrett Strong, he sang Money, that's what I want. That voice, the best things in life are free. It's all gritty and like, that's how I want to sing.
Right.
And so I study all those people's voices and just put it together. And out of all those different genres, and then you add in a little classical opera, that's my style.
Best and worst gig experiences for you, if you had one of each. And you can keep anonymity. You don't have to say any names if you don't want to.
The worst gig, let's see, what would that be? Oh gosh. I was at a casino. I was singing at a casino and I broke my shoe, first of all, the heel fell off.
Oh boy.
Second of all, I hit the button on the keyboard and the drum machine stayed on loop, but it like went really fast. Like instead of going, it went like in the middle of the song. So it was like super fast, and then I had to sing it and try to fix it, and it was a nightmare. It was the worst gig. It was the worst. And then it was just horrible, but we pulled it off somehow. By the way, maybe it was worse when I went and played in Howell, and it was like a bunch of racist people. Ooh. I think it was like the Ku Klux Klan. They didn't like my band. So I had like They thought we were like,
Yeah,
well,
that's
of course, I had African American people. I'm Armenian. We had a Spanish guy. They like didn't like us. You know,
that's
so like,
definitely worse.
maybe that was
Yeah.
the worst. I'd
Yeah,
say that was the
I think
worst.
that's and I always ask this question to like artists, and we've heard some crazy stories. That's kind of like in the top 3 that I've heard.
That's it. It's a true story. We got our
That's up
stuff
there with getting
unlocked.
held at gunpoint, in my opinion. Like that's pretty bad.
They were so mean. They're like, I don't know about you all. Well, we're like, we better get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I think they even said some things, so we got out of there. And then the best gig ever was when I did the Island of Mystique, when I met Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Can't get much better than that one.
Was that last year?
Yeah, I did it last year and the year before.
Cool.
2
Well,
years.
future plans for you besides like myself and everybody else, waiting to get back out there.
Yeah, just to get back to our shows, and do the concerts that are booked already, writing, playing, more stuff coming out. Like this one just came out. I pushed it, up because of the pandemic, because I figured people needed something to listen to now.
Yeah.
Rather than, since I have my own label, I can do that. I don't have to call somebody and ask them. We just did it.
Right.
A lot of work to do that, but we did. And I think people needed to hear music. They're just sitting at home. So we did that, going live, and then get back. I've already been getting calls, like I said, for touring all over the world, like to get to Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, Italy, Greece, France, all those places want me to come. So it's just a fact of, the world getting back to normal, so I can get to all those things and keep, writing music people want to hear. That's about it, because that's the thing that cures me and heals me, is playing and seeing people and knowing they feel better after I sing. And we, you know how it is, and you hug your fans and your friends and everybody feels better. And that's what it's all about for me. That's why I do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, we'll wrap up with a little section that I have called the shootout, which is basically I just say a word or phrase that's industry related to the guest. And you just say a word back that comes to mind. And it's no right or wrong answers.
Okay.
Vocal mic.
Wait, say a word that comes to mind?
Yeah, just, what comes to mind? Vocal mic.
Power.
That works. Performance.
Everything.
Blues.
Love.
Rock.
Passion.
Distortion.
Cool.
Yeah. Song.
What did you say?
Song.
Breath.
Wow. Guitar.
Everything. I already said that. Right arm.
Piano.
Soul. Did I say that already?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Bass.
Bass. Thump.
Yeah. It's funny. Bridget Purdy was on yesterday. She said the same thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
That's crazy. Drums.
In the pocket.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Live.
Hell yeah.
Studio.
Fun.
Detroit.
Badass.
All right, the most important and last one. Pizza.
Fattening.
It can be. Yeah.
I just ate a whole pizza last week.
What was on it?
Oh my God. Pepperoni, mushrooms, what else did we have in there? Hamburger, onions, like garlic salt, everything. It was all cheesy.
Damn.
It was so good.
So
I think I had 4 pieces.
I discovered during quarantine that I actually make a pretty damn good pizza.
Oh, it's so good. Pizza, I should have really said threatening. Because if if I hear pizza, it's a threat. It's a threat to my pants fitting.
I've got one last question for you that I ask everybody. And thank you so much again for taking the time to be on. Really, really have enjoyed this.
Sure, Jason. It was great to be with you.
If you could go back in time to your 15-year-old self, knowing what you know now, what would you tell her as advice?
What would the advice be?
Yeah.
Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about anything. Just have fun and stop worrying so much about the little things. You know how people worry about when you're 15,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, do I look fat? When girls, especially. Just I wouldn't have worried about anything. I would not have worried about anything at all. Nothing. That's what I would say. Do not worry. Live your life, have fun.
That's great. That's great. Well, that just about does it. We'll have your description. We'll have all of your social media handles in the description box.
Okay.
And the new release, Black Crow Moan, is out now and was pushed out before the actual release date. So definitely
Yep.
take a listen to that.
Okay.
Subscribe to Eliza's YouTube channel. Do you have any last words?
Everyone stay safe and don't be overly, don't lose your mind where you can't get back to your life. Let's all just be careful and wear your mask and your gloves and all that and try to think, positive so we can all get back to normal. Because if we don't, we'll have another problem, we'll have no life because everything will crash. You know what I mean? So
For
that's
sure.
scary too. So let's just keep our minds straight and just take care of each other and remember all the important things like family, friends, health, and we'll get through this.
For sure. Well, this has been great. You've been watching and
Yeah.
listening to Eliza Neals on the Jason Damico Show, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.